Alright, so, you want to get it out? Get it. Okay. Go ahead and kick it off. I'm going to go get a drink.
Okay. Hello, welcome to the Completely Report
I changed my mind. You're doing this by yourself today.
podcast. It is I and I alone, Frank, here for your entertainment and your listening pleasures.
In honor of Rob.
Okay, if you like.
I had to get a drink in honor of Rob.
Okay.
Bud Light Seltzer Mango.
Okay.
In honor of our last recording. What happened to Rob? What's he doing now? Has he made it another week in life?
Yeah, he's clean for now.
That's fun. I'm not. No, my shower, the pipe in my shower, the drain, it collapsed apparently. And so I've got like mud backed up in my tub right now. Yeah, I have no idea how long it's going to take for them to get somebody out here to dig up my pipes and fucking replace them and shit.
Oh,
Someone to work on my pipes, bro.
You can't do that yourself?
I could, but probably not because I'm renting. I can't work on my own apartment complex.
Yeah, it's the landlord's responsibility.
Yeah, why would I do that?
Okay, yeah.
I do need to move into a new place. But anyway, did you already tell them where they can find us?
They can find, of course I told them. I said that one
not.
more over there.
Lies. Lies.
You can find us on the internet. Where, you ask? Well, if you're in the Twitterverse, you can find us under Completely an App. If you're on the Instagrams, where we're usually at, and you can usually contact us, the soonest is CI Podcast. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook under Completely Appropriate Podcast. And if you throw in some underscores, you can find us on the BitChute.
You gotta get more efficient at this. I feel like you used to be better at this.
You mean you want me to fucking spit it out faster?
Spit it out. No, I want you to swallow it.
And sound very
professional, like you've done it before. Like we've done this at least 90 episodes by now. Where are we at? No, 80, I think. Right?
Yeah.
70, 80.
I think no, the next one's number 80.
Hey, we finally got over a certain number of downloads. I don't want to say it out loud because it'll make us sound sad.
But we're getting there.
But we're getting there. So proud of us. We're still doing this shit. Haven't missed a weekend yet. Although we've tried. We've tried to miss them. We can't allow ourselves to though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so today on the pickle board, I got distracted by Pickle Rick, and then I got this lighter over here with a pickle on it. There's a lot of pickle.
Oh, it's pickle day apparently.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of pickle day. What color is the pickle?
Green.
And what color is the topic we're talking about today typically thought of? I'll give you a hint. It's on here.
Oh.
What color is that?
It's black with...
It's black. I don't know why he's highlighted green in this book.
Green... No.
Is the alien? Okay. So I'm going to spit it out for those in the audio world. Aliens. We're going to be talking about aliens. Aliens Day just passed a week or two ago.
426.
426.
Because the planet is named LV 426, which is a phrase from the Bible, Leviticus 426. Something, something, something.
Well, what is Leviticus 426?
Let me Google it.
Hey Siri, what is Leviticus 426?
I always forget. It's pretty deep.
Here's what I found.
He must burn all its fat on the altar. What is this? Burn all its fat on the altar as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall make an atonement for him as concerning his sin. Oh. Alright, so it's about sacrificing people to the all-knowing thing in the spaghetti monster in the sky. Which we'll get to when this fucking whole movie franchise just starts to fall apart right around the movie that you've brought up several times.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I actually haven't seen some of these movies, but based on what I've heard, I've got questions, I've got answers of my own, and I've got a whole list of topics to discuss here.
Okay.
So, starting with, we're going to go through this movie by movie. We're going to go through Aliens. For those of you who can't figure that one out, that's part 2. Then we got Covenant. Then we got Prometheus. Then we got Aliens Resurrection. Or was it Aliens 3? No, there's Aliens 3 in there. Resurrection.
Resurrection.
I don't have these in order apparently.
Nope.
But then there was Aliens vs. Predator. You get it that one too. And Aliens vs. Predator Requiem.
Abortions, both of them.
Well, no, we'll get to that. Don't jump ahead. So I'll let you talk. Okay, first off, we'll do it the easy way. What is our favorite aliens that we have experienced so far?
I'm sticking to this. This probably, it's probably because I'm a fucking muscle car kind of guy.
Now, and we are talking about just the movies, right? We're not including books or
Oh yeah, because there's
fan
books,
fiction.
there's comics.
Yeah, there's a
video
whole
games,
bunch of.
and
The video games are
apparently
great.
None of them are fucking canon.
Well, we'll get to that too. I got questions about that later.
Okay.
So just the movies.
But yeah,
What's your favorite one?
the original one, Alien.
Fair. I like it. I do. I love that it was a book that it was the original screenplay or book or whatever, however the fuck it was written originally, was intended to be cast as a male role, and they ended up casting Sigourney Weaver instead and making her a female. That's why the first character, the first alien, actually plays like it's just a badass fucking character in the movie. There's very little attention drawn to her sexuality other than putting her in that nice little panty and white wife beater shirt that she's got at the, is it the beginning or the end or both,
The
right?
end.
Isn't she like in that outfit eventually in almost every one? I know she is in the third one when they get her out of the escape pod, which I've got a problem with the third one. We'll get to that one. Well, just the beginning, like they for some reason they decide. Okay, we'll get there.
We'll get to it.
So you like the first one? Why? What is your favorite thing about the first one? Mine's the second one. If we're going with the movies, mine's the second one.
Because this is fucking, it's sci-fi horror. Some people, the people that aren't too keen on it, call it a haunted house in space. But you know, this one.
Wait,
was
what? What's a haunted house in space? Aliens?
Alien, yeah.
Alien. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to say it without the S.
Is the sequel. But yeah, they call it a haunted house in space. But you know, this was back in a time when it was
way more than that.
Story over fucking scares. Unlike today, where it's scares over story. That's why every horror movie is nothing but jump scares.
What I appreciated about a lot of those, like the Terminator, and like there's a lot left for you to pay attention to yourself. Not everything is just blatantly explained to you. Like
Yeah.
you have to pay attention to the fact that, oh no, you remember that dude ran into the casing, and then right after that there's so much you have to pay attention to realize like why something's happening later in certain situations.
Yeah, and then when it originally came out,
Nowadays it's like something happens like no, what just happened there? Oh, come on, man! I just told you. You gotta get the thing and put it over there. Like you have to. They're explaining
to the
every
audience.
fucing step. Of
And then when it came out originally, the audience was left with a lot of questions unanswered.
Such as
Well, I don't know, I wasn't alive at the time, but
no research whatsoever. You know enough that there were questions asked, but you don't know enough to what questions they would have been.
yeah.
Do you have any of your own?
Like, where did the alien come from? Who was the space jockey?
Space jockey.
Yeah. And you know,
what is a space jockey? I haven't gotten to a space jockey. When does that come out? I feel like I missed the space jockey.
No, you didn't.
I'm telling you, I don't remember.
We're
Okay,
gonna get there
all right.
because there's a whole.
Remember, I've
movie
only
explaining-
seen 1, 2, and 3
Okay.
so far.
Okay. Yeah. That's why
And I
you
saw
missed it.
Prometheus once. I just realized I probably have to cover this for the video.
Oh right, yeah.
And-
Probably. We don't have sponsors.
Yeah,
yet.
we don't have sponsors, so I'm trying to cover up the.
You gotta pay us, damn it.
Shit, this is a Kiss bandana too. Fucking Gene Simmons will go after our ass like a rat bastard.
Yeah.
Not that he's of a certain genealogy. That's no shade at all. It was just based on some private conversation. Inside joke there. Anyway,
But
what were we talking about? Alien.
Yeah, so that, and then when it first came out,
It's a space opera, bro.
It was when it first came out, people were actually leaving the theater and filling up the bathrooms. People were actually puking. Like it was gross.
It was really intense, especially when they. I mean, we're gonna give away all the spoilers, right? We're not
talking about
no,
story elements. But
why not? These movies are old.
I'm
Come
saying
on.
not yet. But if you want to get to it now,
Well, I mean,
get to it.
okay. What would you have said was a more grotesque thing if you could put yourself in the mindset of early? What was it, 89 for the first one?
77.
No,
Oh,
Jesus
78.
Christ.
No, 79.
What an amazing movie for the 70s. Can you believe
Yeah,
that
it's 2
shit?
years after Star Wars.
No, there was very few movies looked that good at that time. Star Wars didn't even look as good as Aliens. And they had a low budget relatively for that movie.
Yeah.
That's why they worked in such shadows and darkness all the time, so they could get away with less detail. It was amazing. The cinematic thoughts that went into that whole production was just so intense, man. And the way they really hold on to the silences, like the Sigourney's acting there, where it's not overproduced. She's not forever like panting, like like you see in such real over dramatized kind of roles. She played a hard ass that she had to harden up really fast to get through that shit. And of course, like I said, it was based on the fact that it was a male role initially. They did very little changes to the script, from what I understand, to make it.
Yeah, in this script, it was mentioned that the genders of the characters were interchangeable.
Really?
Yeah, and so now, fucking that movie is praised by feminists, calling it a fucking feminist movie, when in reality, it was Ellen Ripley was the sole survivor because circumstance made it so.
Yeah, it was
Played
just
it out
circumstance.
that
It was as much luck as it was her skill.
Yeah.
That's why I personally enjoyed Aliens better. I really did, because it showed that she had taken everything she learned and applied it. She also had that added bonus where you get to see her femininity actually come out, her genetics push forward through the fact that now she has to take care of this little girl that's in the story, and a fucking cat. What was it? It was a fucking cat, right?
Yeah, the cat from the original.
The fuck is with that damn cat? Fucking cats. There's no way that cat would have survived. Any alien worth its salt would have killed the cat first.
Yeah, just ask Alf.
But anyway, so she exactly right. There's no time for a snack. There's no time for a snack. That's awesome. Good call. Good pull. What's it all about, Alfie? So yeah, I love that her mother instincts came out when she all of a sudden had this surrogate daughter in this picture.
Yeah, do you know about the deleted scene?
No.
Okay, there's a deleted scene that's added into one of the special editions, the director's cut. But there's a scene where Ellen finds out that her daughter died of old age, and that Ellen had promised her daughter that she'd be back before her, I think, 11th birthday.
Okay.
And so then that sets the tone, you know. Then from there, Ellen finds.
Who's Ellen?
Ellen Ripley.
Oh, Rip. I'm used to just hearing Ripley, man. I completely spaced on the first
Okay,
name.
now we'll only color by Ripley.
Yeah, keep it simple for
Okay.
me. I can't keep that many names in my head like you.
Yeah, so then Ripley fucking finds this lonely child and you know, adopts her, makes her surrogate mother, and then when that certain thing happens in the movie, I'm pretty sure everyone's fucking seen it, but yeah, when
we're not this is a spoiler episode, okay? Look, we've tiptoed around it a little bit, but you're gonna hear some shit. If you haven't seen the movies, go watch them. And you know what? I don't think us telling you any part of these movies is gonna take away from them at all.
Yeah.
If you have any appreciation for classic, really remarkable pieces of work that instigated this whole genre of alien mythos that is perpetuated throughout the world. Like, you never heard of these fucking what do they call them?
What, xenomorphs?
Xenomorphs. Yeah, now xenomorphs is like a legitimate thought of like who the hell thought of fucking lizard fucking presidents and lizard people amongst us before aliens came out, and we saw this more like fucking sci-fi looking thing come out of, and it wasn't just this gray little fucking this fucking E.T. thing coming out, which
Or
is
Paul.
Like, hey, Paul's the shit.
Yeah.
If there are aliens in the world, I pray to God they are Paul. Greatest fucking alien movie ever. That's not that's definitely not canon for Alien, but we can get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that, man. I love that movie.
Yeah, so then that's why when they get fucking split up, Ripley and Newt, fucking her claws come out. You know, she fights for the survival of the child because, you know, she lost one child.
When is
due
the
to fucking
innocent
circumstance?
Oh, but that was so you're saying that That's the scene that got deleted, that she had a kid?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't fly.
But it's in the director's cut.
I heard there's a lot to be enjoyed in the director's cut.
Yeah,
But they explain a lot of the trouble that they had coming up with storylines in certain films and stuff. Part 3. Now part 3 was a cinematic masterpiece. It really was. You gotta give it credit. It looked really fucking good. Like the effects were fun. The problem is that it set the tone for like this stereotypical 90s kind of drama in the horror films. Like, it was an overproduced storyline. It just dragged on the fact that these guys are all they're all prisoners, rapists, and murderers, but they're reformed. Like, yeah, you're gonna have over a dozen fucking murderers and rapists together that all are reformed. Not one of them's gonna go bad. Did one of them ever fucking turn on Ripley in that whole thing? I know she asks the black guy, like, just kill me, I got one in me, just fucking kill me. And she puts her arms up on the bars like she's ready to take it from behind that big black beautiful cock straight up the keister. But no, what happens? The guy swings the axe and just bangs it over her head on the fucking bars. I have never lost a fight, and I'm not gonna lose one today. I'm like, you motherfucker, you've never passed on free pussy either. You could have just taken it and fucking donkey punched her in the back of the head. Both of you would have got what you wanted. But no, she expected it. You know she expected it. Yeah. She was frozen for what, 100 years at this point, or was that the next movie? No, yeah, this is part 3. She was frozen for 100 years and taken in on the prisoner ship, wasn't she?
You're thinking of Aliens.
Oh, that was part 2?
Yeah, she was frozen and floating around for 57 years. Damn.
Okay, I see. That's the problem with watching all these back to back, is they do go well together sometimes. That's what I loved most about 1 and 2. So far those two, they blend together really well. I think they did a good job. So what do you think about 1 and 2 as a unit?
Well, yeah, they make a great arc for Ripley, and the second one is more of an action movie than a horror movie. Well, it is. It's an action movie. And I've always thought of it as the female Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yeah, like Ripley, specifically in that movie, is like the female John McClane.
I saw Die Hard one time for this last Christmas because we had the Christmas episode. I don't see it. It's too comedic. That was the thing about Die Hard. It wasn't supposed to be a funny film, but because Bruce Willis was already known as kind of a comedic actor from, wasn't he a soap opera star or something?
He did a sitcom.
Yeah, so they saw him as kind of a joke character, so when that movie came out, it played like even the directors couldn't get away from producing it as somewhat of a comedy. Just, some of the stuff was just silly, you know?
Yeah. So
like Alan Rickman, as an amazing actor as he is way too much of a thespian to play like that kind of a bad guy, you know what I mean? Like, I can't.
It wasn't eloquent, fucking classy fucking villain.
Character. It was supposed to be, but come on. Then you got Bruce Willis running around with no shoes on.
Yeah. But
and a wife beat. Real classic. There's the working man versus the classy guy. Anyway, alright, I digress.
A lot of drama behind Alien 3, which is why I'm surprised you called it a cinematic masterpiece.
Well, the actual production value of it, the actors, like, it was a good cast. It's not like it was... It's just the storyline itself I felt was lacking.
Because...
Okay, now, what was the actual drama behind it?
Now, Fox, what they wanted to do was... They wanted to make a sequel right away. Well, not right away, but as soon as they could. So then, because they needed the money. And so they wanted to cash in on Alien, the original movie. So they wanted to make part 3 a lot like the original movie. Claustrophobic and all that kind of horseshit.
It was a little, like, nihilist, you know? Like, there's no point of moving on. Like, we just need to end this now. Like, there's no point in trying to survive. We just need to end it all.
Yeah. Okay, because Sigourney Weaver was like, I'm jumping ahead, but because Sigourney Weaver was like, I'm not going to return if Ripley is the main character. So then they made Michael Biehn, fucking Corporal Hicks, they made him the main character, and she's like, okay, I'll sign. But then the script was changed to where it was some sort of, not a prison planet, but they were building some spherical edifice out of wood, and it was similar to
We were getting wood in space.
yeah, it's similar to what we have now, and that one was scrapped, and then there was one script that became a comic book by William Gibson, Alan Gibson, I don't know. Apparently it's a badass comic book. I wouldn't know because I haven't opened mine.
Dude, comic book versions of these movies are so much better. The Walking Dead are insanely good comics. You remember, oh man, what was it? Anyway. Yeah, all of these movies.
So then,
even the Freddy vs. Jasons, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, so Fox called Michael Biehn talking about how fucking, this time you're going to be the star of the show, blah, blah, blah. And then they decided...
Michael Biehn being which character?
Purple Hicks.
Okay.
The guy with the eye cover.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So then, later on, the studio decided to kill off the other two characters, fucking Newt and Purple Hicks.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
And so then they told the director, like, you need to call fucking Michael Biehn. And he's like, fuck. So he calls Michael Biehn, and Michael Biehn is like, he gives him the news, and he's like, well, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck your shitty movie. And they wanted to use his image, so then he said, yeah, you can have my fucking image, but it's gonna fucking cost you.
Okay.
So he sold his image for a hefty fucking price.
Right on, you get paid for not even having to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, take my picture, go ahead. $500,000, please.
Yeah, so then
Peace
that
out.
contributes to them going over budget. And so then they finally have their fucking movie, right, or their script, right? So then they go into production, but they got David Fincher because supposedly he works fast. But David Fincher loves the original so much that he wanted to take his time and actually put some care into it.
Okay.
You know? So then they're like, no bitch, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do this quick. So as they were filming, they were building sets that didn't even get used.
Right,
and
but-
as they were building sets, they kept rewriting the script.
So it was just a convoluted, it was a whole Wizard of Oz kind of problem.
Yeah,
Like
it's a-
everybody was just putting their hands in it and trying to make it this and that, but there were budgetary concerns and the actors being too this or that. So
Yeah, that's why
it was all just falling apart.
there's a few versions.
But you gotta remember, the Wizard of Oz was the same way. We've discussed that on this podcast too, all these problems that had it. And it was a cinematic masterpiece that ended up being something that the whole world is renowned, it's renowned across the whole world.
Yeah, so there's two versions of this movie. There's more, but there's two that actually came out. One where the alien comes out of an ox, and another one where the alien comes out of a dog.
I always wondered that, for instance, I expected the alien to come out of the cat when they fucking came into Aliens, from 1 to 2, when the cat started walking around.
Yeah.
It was, and I expected that to be where it came from instead of just like hitching a ride on the...
So then the other thing, now that I remember, is
Or was that part 3?
they contacted H.R. Giger, the guy behind the fucking design, to design a different alien, you know, one that came out of a four-legged creature.
I'm happy they didn't.
No,
Or did
he designed it, he showed it to them, and he was pissed because they turned it down, and they created their own fucking alien version.
Did they end up doing that? I haven't gotten to a movie where they come out of animals yet.
Yeah, Alien 3, it came out of an ox, depending on which one you watch, either an ox or a dog.
I think I saw it come out. I think it was a dog.
Okay.
An ox. Weird. I'm a little bothered by that. I always felt like it should have been like some sort of symbiosis, which we can get to when it comes to like Prometheus, you know, the next couple movies, because that's when it starts talking about the origins, which bothers me a little bit.
It bothers a lot of people.
Okay. So my main argument is that it seemed from the beginning that it was some sort of symbiotic relationship between this race of aliens and humans, or at least humanoid creatures. You know, oxygen breathing, bipedal. Yeah, but maybe because they're bipedal and we're bipedal. You know, bipedal, bipedal, whatever. Walk on 2 feet. So I don't know, man. I always thought it was some sort of thing in our genes that they could like breed with us, essentially, because they
Yeah,
they
it takes
shove their babies down our throat.
It takes the form of whatever creature it stuck its thing in.
Is that how you end up with like different races of aliens later on, which I
Mm-hmm.
haven't gotten to yet? Apparently, that starts happening in Prometheus, doesn't it? Or I guess in Aliens 3 there was two different kinds, right? Because she was like, I've never seen them move like this before or look like this before, but I know the ones I dealt with before were still afraid of fire, so they started trying to set fire.
Covenant, there's 2 different aliens. There was going to be 3 different aliens, but that got scrapped.
So are there only 2 in all of the movies? Do we only see 2 of them?
Prometheus has a Deacon, who was supposed to be the prototype alien because he came out of an engineer. And then Covenant has the Neomorph, which came out of spores, which is in the Aliens 3 comic. And then the pre-Xenomorph, Like, it wasn't a Xenomorph yet, it was still a prototype.
Like a bug. And that's in Prometheus. So Prometheus is where these movies start getting a little funky, because again, they start talking about the origins and the whole creator mythos that you were so fond of bringing up on several podcasts before. Even I still have not gotten to watch the fucking movie again since it came out back in, what, 2009 or something?
2012.
Like, way the fuck back, when you were still, like, in diapers.
Mm-hmm.
I barely remember that movie, but I do remember it being, like, not such an obvious alien movie. Like, it took me a while to realize that it was an aliens movie.
Yeah, there was a debate when it was coming out that it's a fucking prequel. No, it's not an alien prequel. And Ridley Scott, in one interview, said, no, it's not an alien prequel. And then in another one said, yes, it's an alien prequel. And they settled for it being a fucking alien prequel.
Well, that's frustrating. How can you give 2 answers to the same goddamn question? So what do you think about Prometheus? Well, how does that all tie this in? What do you feel about because what do they do? How do they explain the origins? Or do they not do that till, what is it, Covenant? It's Covenant where they get more into, like...
Yeah, in Prometheus they beat around the bush. Because what was supposed to happen was, it was supposed to be 3 different movies explaining where the alien came from, who the fucking space jockeys are, or who the...
It was episode 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was just retroactively fitting in explanations for shit that people wanted answers to that nobody needed fucking answers to. That's part of why we love fucking the idea of aliens, because we don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Then to just give it an explanation, and then the bullshit explanation that they fucking pull out of their ass in Prometheus and the Covenant, whatever the fuck it's called, Aliens Covenant, is that we fucking engineered them?
No,
is that right?
The robot, the fucking...
Prometheus. Wait, okay, so what the fuck was Prometheus?
Prometheus was where they...
Spoil this fucking movie for me, because I'm almost too annoyed to watch it now.
Prometheus was where these archaeologists found a map, a star map, to a fucking planet. They go to the planet because the engineers, the reason why they call them engineers is because they created humans. And...
Oh, we're engineered!
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
Continue.
And so then, what the fuck is his name? Stupid android. Fucking Android Magneto over there.
Oh, I love the androids. We haven't even talked about the fucking androids. When you said about how people ran away to go throw up the first time they saw aliens, the first thing that comes to mind is when they knocked that son of a bitch's head right off his fucking body. Or when they fucking, the other one, head gets smashed, what is it, like... I don't know. Robots die in every one of these fucking movies, and I love it because it's just a white jizz every fucking where for blood or syrup, whatever the fuck they call blood in their systems. These androids are just filled with white pus. Like, it just sprays everywhere. It's so grotesque, dude.
Yeah.
The only other thing as gross, I guess, is when the alien pops out of everyone's chest, right? And I guess that could make people want to throw up.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just like the thought of someone sucking themselves to your face and like gagging you. Like, did you even know that? Okay, this is spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler from the movie or if it's no. It does come out in the movie, right? Where they like pull the thing off of somebody's face.
They try to pull it off somebody's face.
Are they never able to do it?
No, because the...
Okay, then I'm not going to spoil some more details that we got from this great book that is the reason we're talking about this, Aliens Phalanx, dude. If I didn't want to spoil everything about this book, I would fucking rave about this goddamn thing. Scott Siglar, you're the fucking man, dude. That was so amazing. Everything I ever expected out of his writing came out in that book, and it made me love aliens. I never gave a shit about this fucking movie franchise once in my entire life. The only time I ever liked it is when I saw some girl dressed up in the fucking robot outfit from Aliens Part 2, and she's in the fucking mech suit for the loading dock, and she fights the alien in that fucking, it looks like she's in a whole robot thing, but it's just a fucking mech suit. Like, it's cool the way they wrote it in. It was very intelligently done. It was a loading bay. It was just a tool. It wasn't meant for fighting, but in this situation, it happened to be perfect. Too slow for anything else, but this fucking rapid-ass alien, for some reason, can't move as fast as this slow-ass moving robot in this one instance. There are some holes, alright?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of shit to enjoy. A lot of shit to enjoy.
Yeah. But, what happened? Yeah, so then fucking Android Magneto over there, fucking David, okay, yeah, that's his name. David, fucking, because he spent all this time.
The character's name is David.
Yeah, because he spent all this time breaking down fucking ancient languages. He can read the engineered language, and he opened up the sacred room. I'm calling it sacred room because the planet is called LV-223 because it's quoting Leviticus 2:23.
Apparently, it let
something
them,
about the sacrificial
let
lamb.
them sacrifice it to the altar, for forgiveness or whatnot.
Yeah, and so then, that's where they find the accelerator, which is the alien goo, and the bosses, phases, however you call it. And it
Vials?
turns out
Weren't they vials?
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. I'll watch it tonight and give you a full review. Although it'll be way too late for this podcast.
Yeah, but what happened? So then, and apparently they were fucking bioweapons to erase humanity, to eliminate them. So the xenomorph is like space corona.
The xenomorph is space corona to wipe out the human race.
Yeah.
That has gotten, too strong in the planet that the creator now wants to get rid of us?
Too overpopulated, but something that.
How did they explain creating us in the first place? Why were we created by this creator?
They don't. They were going to leave that for another movie.
Which bothers me. Prometheus wasn't the person who brought us to life. Prometheus brought us the fire.
Yeah, that's why the name of the ship is called Prometheus.
Oh, because it brought but it was allowed us to live, not killed us.
Yeah, the Prometheus brought fucking fire from the gods to humanity, and the fire from the gods is the xenomorph.
But my point is that the whole point of in the ancient story of Prometheus being saved by Hercules, then he comes back. Oh no, I'm sorry. He gets chained up by who is it? Not Zeus. So whatever. He gets chained up for bringing the fire to the humans because they wanted to wipe out humanity. And then he took fire to them so that they could live and continue on. And so he got chained up. Like it wasn't. So it's just a convoluted.
Parallel to that movie.
I mean, vaguely. I guess they're bringing something to humanity. I get it. All right. I'm sure it's better explained than you're doing. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're getting to a very funny thing for me.
Okay.
Where does Predator come from?
That
Because now these movies, are we going to skip over Covenant? Did you basically cover Covenant with the Prometheus story, right?
And in one of our earlier episodes, I think episode 2, I was talking about how it was a mistake that fucking Ridley Scott gave in to the fans proclaiming that fucking if it's an alien movie, there should be an alien. So the entire third act has an alien because, the fans. You wanted to please the fans.
Which movie?
Covenant.
What? Oh, okay. Because it was an aliens movie, but it was okay.
Because all three.
I can't say too much about those
all three
particular
movies were slowly getting to the.
Oh, I missed a point in Aliens. Like I was talking about what a great thing it was that they had the mothering thing. But my problem was the whole time they have this little girl who's been living in this base for whoever knows how long, right? They just happen to find her. She's telling them like, no, they travel at this time, whatever. She gives them like 1 or 2 details, and they never fucking ask her a question. They never ask her, well, how many have you seen? Do you know when they come out? Do you have any idea where they mostly hang out? Like, they don't ask her a goddamn thing. Like, they treat this little 6-year-old like she, like, is a complete dunce. Like, she's retarded or something.
Lieutenant tries to get information out of her.
No!
And that's when Ripley's like,
but Ripley,
let me get a crack at it. And she starts mothering her for some reason.
Yeah, she mothers her. She doesn't ask her any questions. She's like, it'll be alright. I'll take care of you. All this shit. Like, ask her something that she might know. And I'm sorry. I couldn't let the whole podcast go knowing that I had skipped that point. Because that was it was such a good movie. I really loved part 2. But how the hell do you not ask the one character in the whole movie that's been around these things and survived? She's been hiding around these fucking hunters, these things that are created to hunt us, and she survives, a little girl. And nobody asks her how. It's retarded.
So then, Predator comes into play completely by accident.
I love it. Let me before you start on your whole rant on how it's just fan fiction, abso-fucking-lutely. And what is fan fiction but people that fucking love these movies and just want them to work for fun. And when you watch those movies, they are fucking fun. They are fun to, just like Freddy vs. Jason, by the way. Alien vs. Predator was a fucking ripoff of Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason came out the year before.
They wanted to cash in on the...
And they wanted to cash in on that whole aspect of, oh, we can do crossover episodes now? It's like fucking Sabrina and Moesha getting together. Like, 90s reference from hell. Leave y'all fucking newborns out of this one, But yeah, man, they just ripped off Freddy vs. Jason when they came out with Aliens vs. Predator. Now, granted, it was a much better fucking story. Because it wasn't just a horror story, it was an alien movie. It was so fucking good. I love the idea these are both beings that are meant to hunt, that are meant to fight, that are just strictly survival mode animal kind of things. And then they kill a bunch of humans and they kill each other. What is bad about that kind of movie?
Yeah, so then the whole Predator thing...
Tell me what your problem is.
Before that, I'm going to explain to you how fucking Predator comes into play.
Okay.
Predator came into play completely by accident. Predator 2, there was a shout out. This all started because of a shout out, like a wink to fucking. Because you know how Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are best buds?
Nobody knows these things other than you, Frank.
Okay, you know how they're best buds? So then, again, Steven Spielberg decided to shout out fucking George Lucas by including Yoda in E.T.
No.
Yeah.
In E.T.?
Yeah, and so then everyone
Yoda was in Oh, when he does the voice, right?
Yeah, the little kid dressed up as Yoda.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that was his shout out to his best bud.
Oh.
And so to return the favor, George Lucas included E.T. in, I think it was episode
Well, remember the
1.
brother does the voice for like, I'm here for he does it
Yeah,
just like him. I was like, oh, I remember that shot.
Yeah. So then now...
God, E.T., what a great movie.
Yeah, so then now people are saying that...
Oh, E.T., spoiler alert for next episode. We're getting into some classic fucking video games, board games, all this shit we used to play with as kids. So if you guys are loving this fucking retro fucking episode we're doing here talking about these older fucking videos and shit to check out, come join us on our next episode because it's going to be just as fun.
I'm showing my age.
I know, I love it. I love it. No, you're showing your locale because we'll get to it.
Okay.
We can't start talking about that yet. We'll get to it.
The same thing happened in Predator 2. There was a shout out to somebody in the fucking Alien franchise by having a xenomorph skull in the trophy room.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And everyone saw it as like a fortune, for a foreshadowing thing.
Yeah,
That, we're gonna get a movie where it includes them both. I remember that.
Yeah, so everyone was like, oh, it's
so
the
that
same
wasn't
universe.
so that wasn't planned before. It was just a shout out.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was a groundswell movement of people that saw that, got excited. That's when social media started blowing up too. That was 2012, 13. You said
It was
when
like 90.
No, Alien versus Predator?
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were talking about Predator 2.
Oh, that's when they did the shout out.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know anything about the Predator movies. I've never seen a Predator movie.
Yeah, that was like 92,
Really?
94.
Oh, I thought they were a little bit newer than that.
Yeah, so then...
No, older than that. I thought they were 82, 84. Well, the first one.
The first one
the
was
second
80
one,
something.
The second one was in the 90s?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they didn't start messing with the Predators till like early 2000s.
And then,
Whatever.
what happened? So then somebody somewhere wanted to cash in on fan expectations, and they made comics.
Well, you should.
They
You
made-
should listen to the fan. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and they made comics.
That's just good
featuring
business.
the Predator and the Alien. And
Right
some
on.
comics
So
where
it
they
started
fought.
with the comics first. Anything that works in comic books is going to work on the screen. At least blockbuster-wise. Like, because you're going to get those nerd groundswell, that nerd groundswell.
Yeah.
Especially in today's culture where it's accepted now with things like Stranger Things coming out and making, like, D&D shit, like, fucking cool again, you know? Or fucking Game of Thrones doing that same shit. Like, all this fantasy world, all of a sudden it's cool to think about, like, oh, if I was that character, what would I have done?
Yeah, so then for Alien versus Predator, they went with a low budget, not just a low budget, but a PG-13 rating because they wanted to get all that fucking teeny
that's
bopper
right.
money.
Yeah, so it's not quite, but it's still pretty gory though.
That's why a lot of fans weren't too happy with it because it's supposed to be rated R. Like all the Alien movies are rated R. All the Alien movies, Predator movies are rated R.
I think that's real close-minded fucking thinking.
Because
Like,
it's
you
supposed to
should,
be gory.
if the story's good and it explains like legitimate aspects of the mythology or whatever, I'd say every one of those. I mean, it's a different chapter in a saga. Not everything it has to be the hero's journey. You know, like sometimes it could just be a theological journey that you've got to go on, you know? Which is what Prometheus was. Prometheus was a shit movie if you liked action and stuff. Like, yeah, everybody died, but it wasn't a lot of fighting. There was a lot of death, but there wasn't a lot of, like, actual action. It was just kind of like jump scares, from what I remember. Am I wrong there? On Prometheus?
Well, Prometheus is slow because it's exploring these questions.
Exactly.
It's a philosophical
That's what I'm
movie.
telling you.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. You had it explaining things there, so you have that same aspect in this.
Yeah, and then you got Alien vs. Predator, which is expected to be nothing but fucking action, but it takes its time
I like
with a
that.
backstory.
I like that. And I like that. I like a good story. I think
Yeah, me
story matters more than the action. Now the action needs to be well done and well rehearsed, but
It actually needs to be part
but
of
it
the
needs to be
story.
part of this. Yeah, it can't just be gratuitous fucking. Like I love porn with a storyline. I don't like just gratuitous like bang bang. I like it when the pizza guy shows up and the girl's already in her panties and there's a whole little storyline.
Oh,
to start
you've
with.
never seen storyline porn.
I mean, I used to watch Skinamax and HBO.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
love that
storyline.
stuff. I used to watch this gay one. I had a gay roommate, and he had this one on a box set. He'd make me watch it with him. It was softcore gay porn, but it was all storyline driven. And I started getting into it. I was like, oh my god, they're finally gonna hook up! Yes,
It's like a soap opera.
It was real drama, but it was
Where they
properly
show-
done.
Yeah.
It was really proper gay porn. I wasn't doing nothing. But I want to be very clear. This is nothing.
You were hooked on the story.
I was hooked on the story, and
It was your
I
soap opera.
yeah, and the guy was letting me live there like for half rent.
The
'Cause,
least you could
yeah.
do was watch his gay porn.
I mean, it wasn't gratuitous. I think he was trying to condition me. and,
Yeah, you brought that up a few times.
But you need to remember, I also got kicked out by the same guy a month later because I brought a girl home. Not even a month later, like a week and a half later, because I brought
so
a
they're
girl.
probably trying to get with you. And
Yeah, I think he really thought that like I was in a closet or something, just because I was that okay with him and I had told him about my past, like with
Would you
guys.
consider that petty?
Him?
Petty
Or
of him
me?
to throw you out because you're straight?
That wasn't the only reason he threw me out.
Oh, okay.
I had a cocaine problem too.
Nah, that explains it.
To be fair, it was his cocaine. I stole.
Oh, so he was gonna Tiger King your ass.
No. He never offered me. He wasn't a drug addict at all. Like he just.
Okay.
I was in our restaurant. I noticed his jewelry box. I was like, ooh, what a cute earring, and I picked that earring up to try it on, cause I was a kid. Whatever, man. I shouldn't have been going through his shit. And under the earring happened to be this little bag of coke. I was like, ooh, I'm just gonna do both. And 10 minutes later, I'll go do one more. By the end of the day, he's back at work. I'm like, hey, dude, I gotta tell you something. I did that bag that you had there. Dude, I think we're gonna have to cut all this story out. I feel really.
We'll cut it out because we're talking
It's
about.
okay. It's at the end of the
Predators.
episode. Nobody's ever gonna fucking listen to this shit anyway.
Yeah.
I'm only worried about my family listening to this shit. As long as they don't make it past the first half hour, which I doubt they ever have, it'll be alright.
So they had a low budget for Predator vs. Alien, and that's why the Alien looks completely B-movie. The aliens in Alien vs. Predator. And then for AVP Requiem, that's part 2, for those of you that don't know, the budget was even shorter.
I didn't even know that one existed.
Oh, it does.
I just know it had a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's why it's so dark. Like that's why the lighting is so poor because.
So they went old school with it, like they did.
No,
in Alien.
because the budget was so low, and you know they didn't want it to seem like such a cheap movie.
Yeah.
So that they cut the lights.
Well, that's what they did in Alien.
Yeah.
But it had a bigger budget than that.
Yeah.
A big enough budget to work with.
That and the.
And better story.
Yeah, they properly used the.
So how did they keep that going? The Alien versus Predator thing. What happened in the last one? In the second one?
Oh, one of the aliens, one of the predators finds out that there's a fucking
A planet
alien loose.
Oh.
So he goes and cleans it up. Fun fact: that predator is named Wolf because he's a cleaner, much like Wolf in Pulp Fiction.
Ah.
That's why they named him Wolf.
Okay. All right. So last question of the episode.
Okay.
Just to wrap this up, we've been going on a while now. Do you see another Alien movie in the future?
There's talks about, like, Ridley Scott said that the third one is in the works. That's why he took the job with Disney.
A third one? Alien
A
versus
third-
Predator?
No, a third Prometheus movie.
Oh,
Alien-
prequel.
Yeah, Scott Ridley
Hopefully something that
took
brings it all
a
together.
job with Disney, a trilogy,
Mhm.
to win favor with Disney so that they can let him make Alien. Because before Fox was sold to
Why does
Disney,
Disney have to own everything?
before Fox was sold
I thought
to
monopolies
Disney,
were like against the Constitution or something.
No, they're
Amendment.
like the government is supposed to prevent monopolies, but since politicians
Yeah,
have
Apple, Amazon,
have their hands in these pockets, they allow them.
Tesla's the worst one. I love Elon Musk, but that dude, all his stuff is proprietary. You can't even work on you can't add any aftermarket stuff. Everything has to be through Tesla itself. Like now you have guys that
That's
are.
extortion.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. The guy's a businessman. What are you gonna do? He sold all his shit. He lives here in Boca Chica now.
Yeah, you've been saying that.
Yeah, I love it. We're gonna go see the next SpaceX launch as soon as the first one launches. Though we gotta make sure the first one's in the boat. After that, didn't the Star Hopper? No, that one
There
did
was
fine.
an outrage because he mentioned in Take a Shot, Joe Rogan podcast, that he was going to have his SpaceX
Dude,
launches.
he sounded drugged out on
that
that.
he was going to have his space launches in Brownsville and Boca Chica because nobody lives there. And so people down here were fucking mad. They were like, fucking, what the fuck? Of course people live here. And I explained it to somebody that posted it on Facebook. I'm like, he's not saying that nobody lives in Brownsville. He's saying in that area where he's gonna have the launch.
Where he purchased the land.
Nobody
For that
lives-
reason?
Like the houses are.
Oh, people
safe
take shit so
distance.
personal.
So literally too.
Dude, there is a census. We know there are people here. Anyway, this episode's over. Everybody, buy Aliens Phalanx by Scott Siglar, #1 New York Times bestselling author, an original novel based on the films from the 20th century Fox. They are based on the films. It is an amazing book. All I will tell you is that it is worth your time. It is an amazing fucking book. If you have the time to listen to it on Audible, I highly recommend it. The voice acting is done so well. I forgot to write down who the narrator was, but he does an amazing job. The science character, his voice, it's like, he's always talking like this. And I love this character because he's such an asshole. And he's like, Jesus Christ.
I thought he was gonna remind you of me
asshole
for some reason.
Oh, he does. In a way, but not so much. Those
Yeah.
characters are very unique. They're very, very good characters, man. I love the way he wrote them in, man. He just...
Green, that was his name.
I'm trying not... No spoilers, man!
No, I'm not giving away.
I was just giving away a voice. I didn't even say a single line.
Okay.
Aliens Fanlings, check it out, people. Scott Siglar, we love you, man. Give us some more GFL books, man. I love those fucking books. Oh, I love those Galactic Football League books, man. All of them. Everything you wrote. Peace. I'm out. Frank, let them know where they can find it. I'll do it. You can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us at completelyinap on Twitter, at CI Podcast on Instagram. You can find us on Spotify, Google Play Store, Apple Pod. So if your friends aren't on Apple, tell them they can still find us everywhere else. Just
You have
fucking
to
look
type
for us.
in podcast too, not just completely inappropriate.
No, we're the Completely Inappropriate podcast.
Yeah.
As you'd like to point out. I don't understand it. I don't understand why that's a thing, but it's a thing. Completely Inappropriate Podcast. Check us out, everybody. We love you. Frank, what do we tell the people?
Be excellent to each other.
Find your happy. We love you. Peace. Bye. Say bye, Frank.
Bye, Frank.